Meet Stu Holden, a former US soccer star turned top TV game analyst for Fox Sports. Stu transitioned to broadcasting, quickly becoming Fox's lead color commentator. Now let's kick things off with Stu.
Stu, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Stu Holden, former professional soccer player, now the lead match analyst for Fox on the World Cup, the Euro, and all of our biggest soccer properties.
We're 1 year out from the World Cup. How hyped are you right now?
I'm hyped! It's the World Cup! It's the biggest soccer tournament, biggest sporting event on the planet. Is going to be happening next year right here in North America, US, Canada, and Mexico. I've been waiting for this for 8 years. So if you can't tell my excitement right now that we're 1 year away from this tournament happening, let's go. Let's go.
Biggest storyline you're already watching heading into 2026.
So the World Cup is the biggest, best teams in the world, and also that means the biggest stars in the world. I was in Qatar for the World Cup final where Messi won his first ever trophy, and I thought that was it. But it seems that Messi, Ronaldo, and these legends of the game are gonna be here in the US next summer, and I can't wait for that to see what type of role they have and if Messi can win another one.
What makes this North American World Cup different from anything we've seen before?
This World Cup will be so different to anything you've ever seen before. 1994 was the last time the World Cup was in the United States. That was the most attended World Cup still to this date. This World Cup is gonna blow it out of the water. It's the first time you have 3 different countries that'll be hosting the World Cup, 48 teams in an expanded format, 104 matches over the course of 2 months, culminating in the final in New York in what is gonna be one of the biggest spectacles this world has ever seen.
Most underrated part of covering a World Cup with the Fox crew?
Oh man. The most underrated part of covering a World Cup, I think, is the amount of travel and preparation that goes into calling these games. A lot of friends will say to me, man, you get to be at all these great stadiums and all these great moments. How cool is that? And I'm like, yeah, it is the coolest job ever, but the amount of work that goes into preparing for those big moments to be able to bring it to millions of viewers at home, you feel that pressure, but it also gets you excited at the same time.
Which USMNT player has the most to prove in the next 12 months?
Christian Pulisic. He's the star of this team. He's sitting out the Gold Cup this summer, and he is going to be the most important player for the US to have a successful run at the World Cup. Being one of the host nations means that there's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectation. That's what we want as fans, to see this team do well, and I think a lot of that pressure falls on the shoulders of Christian Pulisic.
Does the USMNT actually have a shot to win it all, or are we just dreaming again?
Oh, I want to make you believe. But if I'm being realistic, I don't think the United States will win the World Cup in 2026. I think a realistic expectation for this team, and one that I can hope to see, is if we play to our maximum capability, you get the home crowd involved, you build a bit of momentum, that I think this US team, if everything works out the way it does perfectly, they could reach a semifinal.
Agree or disagree? Some say the US isn't considered a real soccer nation yet until we win something.
I think winning international trophies is a lot harder than people understand. Only 8 nations historically in the history of the Men's World Cup have ever won a World Cup. So to think that that would be our validation as a soccer nation, I think would be silly. We are a soccer nation. We have a rich soccer history. It's continuing to grow. It's the #1 participated youth sport in the country. So we have a soccer culture. I think what we'd like to see is that we can be competing with the world's elite. And I don't think that time is too far away.
Be honest, how far should the USMNT go next year to call it a success?
Well, I want to say semi-final for that to be a success, but that feels that that would be achieving beyond success, and that would be extraordinary. I think realistic expectation for the US should be the quarterfinals. It's an expanded format now, so you come out of the group, you play in the round of 32, and then you'd have to go to round of 16 and then the quarters. So that would mean the US winning a substantial amount of knockout games, but I believe.
Bigger threat in 2026, Mexico or Canada?
Ooh, our neighbors to the north have been looking pretty good as of late, but I just think Mexico, with the amount of talent that they have a great coach right now in Javier Aguirre, and they're gonna have, I think, the biggest support of any nation at the World Cup next year. So I'm gonna say Mexico is the bigger threat.
If the US crashes out early, who's taking the heat?
Everybody. This tournament next summer is what everybody has been building for 8 years. Everybody in the new headquarters in Atlanta at US Soccer, we hired the coach in Pochettino, paid him a bunch of money, so we've got the big coach, a lot of expectation on these young players. And if we don't succeed in the tournament as a failure, there's going to be a lot of people that will lose their jobs.
What's one opinion about the World Cup you have that most people would totally disagree with?
So an opinion I have about the World Cup that I think people might disagree with if you're a little bit sentimental and romantic about the history of the game is I think from as soon as the teams get into the knockout stages, we should eliminate extra time up until the semifinals and just go straight to penalties. Because these players play so many games, it is so grueling. They have to play over the course of 2 months to get to that final. And I just think if we say, look, after 90 minutes, boom, we go straight to penalties, we build the drama. There's going to be heartbreak. There's going to be ecstasy on the other side. But I think we should get rid of extra time until you get to the semifinals and the final.
Who's the most overrated national team heading into 2026?
Ooh, I think the most overrated national team with regards to 2026 would be Germany. Germany historically come with so much hype. They won the World Cup back in 2014, and I think that they will be expecting to have an impressive performance next year, but I just don't see it with the way that their team is playing right now.
Would you rather see Messi or Ronaldo in 2026, or is it time to move on?
It's never time to move on from legends of the game. And every time we've tried to write off Messi, well, he won a World Cup in 22, tried to write off Ronaldo, just won the Nations League with Portugal. And I just think that their type of quality is always something that I want to see in any given moment, even as they get older in their game. So if I have to pick one, look, Messi's won his World Cup. I would love to see Ronaldo win one now on the other side, because that would just stir up all the conversation about who's better and who was best in their career when they're done.
VAR, savior of the game or ruining the vibe?
Oh, I love ultimately that VAR gets the biggest decisions right and that we don't see big games decided on moments that were called by a referee that maybe didn't have the best vantage point. So while I might be historically a little bit sentimental to the way it used to be, I do think that VAR has been additive to the game.
The expanded 48-team field, better for the game or muddying it up?
Better for the game. I think ultimately the World Cup is about having opportunities for players to play in a World Cup. And with the expanded format now, some nations will get to qualify for the first time in their history. And you think about how life-changing that will be, not just for them, for their fans, for their country, and for these players as well with their federations and the future of the game. So I think it's a good thing that FIFA has expanded, although let's just keep it at 48 for a while. Let's not get too crazy.
Wildcard team you think could shock the world next summer?
Wildcard team to shock the world in the World Cup next summer. I'm going with the Netherlands. The Netherlands have never won a World Cup in their history. They have a really talented generation that's playing phenomenally well right now, and they came close. They lost on penalties to Argentina in the quarterfinals in 22, so maybe this is their year next year.
Player you'd love to interview live on Fox next summer? Any nation, any era.
I just think Messi. Messi, for me, is the greatest player that has ever played the game, and if I was standing on that field in New York after the final in 2026, and I'm standing there interviewing Lionel Messi, I don't know if it gets much bigger in my broadcasting career than that.
3 must-watch matches fans should circle the second the schedule drops.
Okay, watch the US games. Opening match, June 12th, SoFi Stadium. That is gonna be one for the ages. To see our national anthem played, American crowd, jam-packed stadium. Any match that Messi's playing in, go see it. It might be his last World Cup ever. Ronaldo's the same. And then Lamine Yamal in Spain. They are the European champions and I think could become World Cup champions once again. I was just watching him play live. It is something truly special. And when you see these types of talents, to see them on the biggest stage, there's no better thing.
Fill in the blank. The 2026 World Cup will be
the greatest sporting event in the history of the world.
Final prediction. Who's lifting the trophy? And who's choking under pressure?
Spain will be lifting the trophy in 2026 World Cup champions. And the team that's going to choke under pressure? Brazil.
What's your rating of the sit?
My rating of the sit was interestingly strong, good. Yeah, I mean, I had fun. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Wait, who turned off the lights? How am I supposed to call a game in the dark if I can't see anything?